If you're a Western Force fan, you get to enjoy what I enjoy every weekend, watching the Melbourne Rebels lose again. They're winning. You're gonna enjoy that. You're gonna enjoy that tomorrow, okay? You're gonna be hoping that the Rebels are winning and they don't throw it away in the last minute of the game. Anyway, let's put that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But tonight, the Western Force has put up a huge upset over the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes looked firmly in control throughout the game, but just letting the Western Force back in, penalty 3 points here, penalty 3 points there, and and the second half, when the crunch starts to settle in, the Hurricanes look like they're just pushing everything a little bit too hard and not able to execute for the tries that they desperately needed. And in the end, there were periods where the Hurricanes were just grinding the Western Force for really long periods of time, really long phases, not able to score points. And Western Force, having only a few opportunities in the second half, executed, got the points they needed, and squeezed out this win. Yeah. This was a game where this could be the final game for a number of players for the Western Force. Richie Kahui, Jeremy Thrush, and Greg Holmes all announced retirement earlier this week. So this could have been the last game if they don't make it into the elimination round next week. If they had lost this game, this would have been definitely the last game for them. So it's all up to the Rebels now to beat the Highlanders without letting Highlanders getting a bonus point, in fact, for the Western Force to advance to the elimination rounds next weekend. Yeah, and they're going to be playing against the Blues in Auckland. It's going to be really tough. But there was a really funny moment in the game. I'm not sure if Jeremy Thrush just wanted to get reassociated with his old team, the Hurricanes. 8 minutes into the game, literally, Jeremy Thrush, instead of just like, he was running back from an offside position, he literally just slotted into the Hurricanes attacking line. Yeah, like he wasn't even like, sorry guys, I'm just running back, a bit of lazy running. He was literally in the Hurricanes line, looking like he's gonna receive the ball from ready to receive the ball from TJ Perenara. Considering he used to be a Hurricanes player, I thought, and this could have been his last game, I thought he was just having a laugh. I thought he was just out there and having a laugh about playing on his old team once again. So, but that little bit of joke, Angus Garner wasn't having it. He got a yellow card for that. He probably didn't expect to get a yellow card for just doing that once. He thought maybe he's just going to get a penalty, but the referee thought that was just a cynical professional foul. Instantly gave him a yellow card. But that was really funny. The commentators were like, he's been pretty good friends with TJ Perenara in the past. So they played plenty of these drills before, and he just wanted to get one more run on the Hurricanes side. And again, the Hurricanes look a lot better with their more experienced veteran 4-pack on the field in the first half with Dan Coles and what's the name? The big man. I can't believe I forgot his name. I know his name, Owen Franks. So with the more experienced forwards on the field, the Hurricanes did look with a lot more confidence when they were running, did look more stable. And I felt like the Hurricanes did play a lot better in the first half than they did in the second half. That is for sure. So the funny business aside, let's have a look at some of the important stats. So the Hurricanes was leading the Western Force 3-1, at halftime. But they were only leading by 4 points, 17 points to 13, because they were giving away a few too many penalties and they were not able to convert their own tries. Yeah, so the goal kicking really hurt the Hurricanes a little bit, despite having dominance, overwhelming dominance in the first half over the Western Force. And the Western Force did really well to manage and hang in there, 13 points to 17. That's kind of like what you wanted to do against these Kiwi teams. is to really just hang in there and then find that opportunity to get the, score your tries, try to close out the game towards the end. It's all about like managing the game. It's not really, I don't really agree with the commentators where they think, oh, you gotta score tries against New Zealand teams. No, that's not actually like not the case. It's just about managing the game. It's about, first and foremost in professional rugby today, it's about having good defense. If you're letting in 5 tries a game, no matter how many tries you're scoring, you're not gonna win. It's all about having good defense and managing the game and try to, keep together and push through for the final minutes of the games to get yourself in front. And that's exactly what the Western Force did. And they did really, really well this game. So at halftime, the run meters were actually pretty close. 236 run meters to the Hurricanes, 210 to the Western Force. So full time, the Hurricanes actually had more run meters, 543 to 323. So the Hurricanes had more opportunity to attack in the second half, but they were not able to get through with the points that they needed to win the game. Whereas the Western Force had fewer opportunities, but they were able to, get the game across. Turnovers at halftime, Western Force conceded 5 turnovers to the Hurricanes 6. So Hurricanes conceded 12 turnovers in the second half alone. Despite their overwhelming possession and territory, they were not able to score because they keep turning the ball over to the Western Force. Like I said, it almost felt like when the experienced players, the front rowers came off, it almost felt like the Hurricanes was playing a tempo that was too fast for themselves. Yeah. And then tackle count, the halftime, 79 to 80, so pretty close tackle count. 14 missed tackles already at halftime for the Western Force. Second half, the Western Force has to way more tackles, 193 tackles, 27. So they missed fewer tackles in the second half despite making more tackles. So it was really big thumbs up and step up for the Western Force in their defense. The Hurricanes only had to make 126 tackles and only missed 10. Yeah, so really interesting there how the Western Force were able to just capitalize that slimmer of opportunity to win. Like just, again, here it is, the difference. The game management, 3 out of 3 conversions, 2 out of 3 penalty goals for the Western Force, 23 kicks to 14 kicks. So really played that territory quite well with the kicking game, and also just able to diffuse a lot of that pressure that was exerted upon them from the Hurricanes with the turnovers, and also the lineouts. Both teams lost 2 lineouts, and then the yellow cards, 1 apiece. One for, like I said, Jeremy Thrush trying to relive his glory days playing for the Hurricanes again. And the second yellow card was given to Rayasi, deliberate knock on in the second half. But overall, the penalty count at halftime was actually 5 penalties against the Western Force, 8 against the Hurricanes. So the Western Force conceded 3 penalties in the second half, and Hurricanes conceded 6 penalties in the second half. So both teams reduced the penalty count in the second half, but yeah, it's the game management. I felt the Western Force did much better. The scrum lost. Hurricanes actually lost 2 scrums to the Western Force 0. I thought the Western Force was under the pump for the looked like they were under the pump for the Hurricanes, but the referee had a few really, especially in the second half, there was like a few like a game-changing call just before the end there. So yeah, so basically let's talk about what happened at the end now. So basically right at the end, Hurricanes had was it behind, right? Was 22-27 pounds. Hurricanes need to score a try. They're building pressure inside the Western Force half. One of the Western Force goes down. He knocked himself out in a tackle, completely legal, knocked himself out in a tackle. And as a result, this gets a little bit controversial. As a result, the referee stops there was no penalties, no infringements. The referee just stops the game because the player was down. I felt like that was a huge missed of opportunity, and that was really, really unfair, hard done to the Hurricanes. So Hurricanes loses all their momentum that was going forward, and they have to pack down a scrum feed. And as the scrum comes in, the scrum collapses, and the referee gives a full-on penalty to the Western Force for Hurricanes sleeping down. So the penalty was appropriate. I felt was the right decision, but the decision to stop the game and go for the scrum, I felt like that was a bit premature. I felt like the player was still really far away from the injured player. They should have just played on a few more phases, and when the ball gets closer to the injured player, they will stop the game. I think that's what should have happened instead of just stopping the play when the injured player is still pretty far away from the action. Yeah, that was a huge letdown for the Hurricanes. They lost all the momentum and then lost the ball with a scrum penalty. Yeah, and that was the opportunity the Hurricanes desperately needed to win the game, basically. That was 2 minutes left, and with this penalty, the clock runs down to about 30 seconds. Hurricanes did get the ball back. The Western Force did not get the ball out for the penalty. They failed to find touch for the penalty, but Hurricanes only had 30 seconds to try to score a try, and eventually, yeah, that was a bit of a scramble in the ruck. Hurricanes loses the ball. The referee says knock on. Yeah, a bit of a controversial finish there too. So go through the start, like I mentioned, right from the beginning, 8 minutes into the game, Jeremy Thrush wants to relive his glory days in the Hurricanes, slips himself in the Hurricanes attack line, calls for the ball, and referee deemed that cynical. I can't believe what I just said that. Calls for the ball from TJ Perenara, and then gets a yellow card. And then 13 minutes into the game, another penalty for offside against the Hurricanes. So, sorry, the Western Force actually gets a penalty right away, 6 minutes into the game. They kick the penalty for 3. Western Force 3 points on the board. So on the 13th minute, there was a penalty, another penalty against the Hurricanes for offside. Western Force goes for a kick. Pryor hits the goalpost. So that was a really close one. Missed opportunity there. On the 20th minute, the Hurricanes gets themselves rolling. Morby, basically the Hurricanes was just like pounding the Western Force try line. The ball comes out. There was a nice little loop behind to Dan Coase, who crashed the ball. Center field, he got really close. The ball comes back out right under the post. They just spread the ball out wide to the wing. There wasn't nothing crazy. Just spread the ball out the wing. And Morby, he gets the ball on the wing. And he just cuts back in and bumped up 5 defenders. Yeah, he beat 5 defenders running back into the field and plants the ball down under the post. Not on the post, under the try line, on the try line. So he cuts back in from all the way from the sideline, and then scores it by beating 5 players, scoring a try. So this was really impressive, and the Western Force defense just looked like what the hell's going on there. On the 26th minute, after this try was scored, the Hurricanes is still in the front foot. 6 minutes later, they put in more pressure onto the Western Force, just building pressure, building fast, good hard running game, and then Morby goes in for the second try. Immediately, 6 minutes. And then after this try was scored, Hurricanes putting on even more pressure. The Western Force just didn't even look like they're in the game from this point on forward. It was just all Hurricanes for like about 15-20 minutes. On the 35th minute, Hurricanes gets another opportunity. They basically spread the ball out wide to Riasi. Riasi runs in. This was like Hurricanes were trying to run the ball out of their own half. They're like inside their own half, trying to run the ball out of their own half. Riasi gets the ball center field. He runs into 2 defenders, throws the ball to Eosi, the number 8, on the sideline. He just big long strides down the sideline. Had a defender on him. He had to shrug off. Dots the ball down into the corner. That was 34 minutes, and there was just like out of nowhere, the Western Force defense just got carved open once again. Just before halftime, it was looking quite like one-sided at this point. The Western Force finally gets one opportunity inside the Hurricanes half. The Western Force just pounding the try line. They got really close, but 5 minutes short. And Medrano did this huge run up. He was like 15 meters behind the rock. He just like started sprinting up, and then like Ian Pryor looks up, pops the ball to him. He catches the ball and just bang, belts himself through, gets over for the try. And Western Force get their first try on the ball. With 2 penalties in the first half and the try, Western Force 13 points to 17, only down by 4, despite getting absolutely destroyed with possession in the first half by the Hurricanes. So second half starts right away, like immediately in the second half. Riasi gets penalized for deliberate knock on. There was like a cutout pass over his head. He knocks the ball on deliberately, and he gets yellow carded. Yeah, and then the Hurricanes gets caught offside again after this. The Western Force goes for a 5-meter line out, and the Western Force, that line out gets stuffed out. and then they go for, there was end up being a scrum, and they get another penalty, Western Force. So the Western Force has another opportunity to go for a second line out, 4 minutes into the second half, another 5-minute line out. This time they get line out down. They set up a nice little maul and just completely like shoves more through, crashes over for the first try for the Western Force in the second half. And right away, suddenly the Western Force leading 20 points to 17. Yeah, like it was unbelievable, like how quickly it's turned around. Instantly, the Hurricanes is looking a bit out. On the 51st minute, Hurricanes has their own lineout, 5-meter attacking lineout against the Western Force. 14 phases later, not able to score. Yeah, the Western Force defense was really good. Hurricanes, at this point, a lot of the bench starting to come on. It's just looking like the rhythm is really starting to go off between the players. There's a lack of a little bit of continuity. Finally, on the 57th minute, so in the 57th minute, Hurricanes gets another scrum option inside the Western Force 22. This is just a typical set, like very standard set play. TJ Pierre gets the ball out. He passes to Morby, center field. Morby throw a nice little cutout pass out wide to Riasi. He had too much space to work with. Just runs in, kind of like one of the defender was kind of like on him. He dunks the ball into the corner anyway. And easy try for the Hurricanes. Suddenly, Hurricanes get back in front, 22 points to 20. They missed the conversion here, so Western Force was only 2 points behind after the try was scored. But still, 20 minutes to play. Both teams could still take the game at this point. And on the 61st minute, there was a knock-on. Like the Hurricanes looked like they're gonna score this one. They basically had like a number of players linking up with each other on the sideline, and then I think it was Booth. He had the ball finally down the sideline. He was gonna get pushed out. He strikes off. He like tiptoes on the sideline, strikes him off, and as he's running down, he looked inside. He had Adi Savia and one other player inside him. I think it was Riasi inside of that. It looked like he was trying to pass the ball to Riasi. Adi Savia thought this ball was to him, so he reaches out to try to grab the ball and he knocks the ball on. Yeah, but if he didn't touch the ball, he just let it go through. I think it was Riasi that was outside of him, would have just caught the ball and would have went in. So this was a huge opportunity that was missed by the Hurricanes. It looked like, it was really just one of those things that if Adi Savia had known there was not a player outside of him and the ball was supposed to go to him, this would have been a try. So yeah, this was a really, really, really disappointing for the Hurricanes fans. And then on the 69th minute, the Hurricanes once again, they again and again was beating into the Western Force half. The Force held on for a lot of pressure, and eventually the Force ended up with a 40-meter lineout. Finally, inside their own 40-meter lineout. Finally, I think it was inside the Hurricanes half, right? Oh no, it was inside their own half, and they throw the lineout in not straight. Yeah. So this was like really hurt Western Force. And then on the 74th minute, finally the Western Force gets inside the Hurricanes half, tidied up their play. They were just building a lot of pressure, getting a penalty advantage, and then it was just beautiful hands. They get the ball, the number 10, McDonald, pass to Pasitoa, and he just basically like it was just basically like the attack was just a really flat pass to Pasitoa, and Pasitoa was just like Tova. He was just like slips through this huge gap between like the outside center and the winger, it was just really one of those attacks where you think that the outside center had Ralston covered, but he just slipped through the defender. So then Western Force suddenly gets through this beautiful try, gets in front, 27-22. This was just like a really good executed try as well. Just good hands and slipped through a big gap. 27-22. This conversion was really important as well. It's kind of like on a bit of an angle. They had to get this conversion for the Hurricanes to score a converter, try to win the game. If they didn't get this conversion, Hurricanes just had to score a try or even kick a penalty to level the score. So they get the conversion, 27-22. And then the pressure is on the Hurricanes to win the game with about 6 minutes left on the clock or so. And like I said, Hurricane, this was a bizarre ending. Hurricanes building pressure into the Western Force half. One of the Western Force makes a tackle, knocks himself out. Referee calls stoppage for a scrummaging and offers the penalty to Western Force. Western Force kicks the penalty, tries to kick the penalty out for the touch. Hurricanes, they failed to find touch, so Hurricanes had an opportunity to attack. And eventually, they got into Western Force half. It looked like the ruck was a bit messy. So initially there was a maul. The ball had to come out. And then there was just like a really messy stuff. The halfback was like juggling the ball, and he knocks the ball on from trying to take the ball out of the maul essentially. And the referee called the game. Game over. So yeah, all of you Western Force fans, enjoy. Hoping the Rebels win tomorrow. It's gonna be really, really painful. I really hope the Rebels win, but anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you're a Western Force fan, let me know how you feel. Let me know in your comments down below. And thank you for watching, and see you tomorrow. Cheers.